Thank you, Faye. Good evening, everybody. We started Derby Day on Talk Sport over on Merseyside, and we will finish it on the banks of the Thames. Two West London clubs, Fulham and Brentford, now firmly established in the Premier League. And for the fans, this is one of the highlights of the season. And as a fixture too, it always seems to produce drama, excitement, and late goals. More of that tonight, we hope. Bernd Leno is the Fulham goalkeeper. Tete, Anderson, Bassi and Sessegnon, Lukic and Berger, Wilson, King and Iwobi behind Muniz. And for Brentford, Kelleher in goal, Van den Berg, Collins and Pinnock the centre halves, Coyote and Lewis Potter the wing backs, Henderson, Yarmoliuk and Damsgaard in the middle, Igor, Thiago and Schade up front. And Stuart, I'm really looking forward to this, not only because of the recent meetings and the excitement that we usually see between these two, but whilst there is always pressure in the Premier League, it doesn't feel like there's a great deal of pressure on these two teams. They can both go out just to try and win the game tonight, and that should be exciting.
Yeah, it certainly should be. As I say, Keith Andrews, his first job in the Premier League, I'm acutely watching how he does. I'm looking forward. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to is the head-to-head, if you like. An old head in Jordan Henderson, who I've worked with before, but Josh King, who really caught my eye at Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. He was outstanding, I thought. Best player at first half, 18-year-old young man making his way against an old head in Henderson in that sort of central area.
Yes, he's just about half the age of Jordan Henderson, but that will be among the key battles tonight. Brentford in the change kit this evening. It's an all dark brown change kit, and Fulham are all in white. The West London derby, which always produces theatre and drama at one of the Premier League's most characterful grounds. We're off and underway, and as ever on Saturdays, from start to finish, the only place to be is Talk Sport, as Brentford win an early throw midway inside opposition territory, and right on cue, here come the three centre halves for the first of no doubt many a long throw over the course of this evening.
Yeah, I think set plays are going to be absolutely crucial today. I thought Fulham defended their set plays in the last game. I saw them at Chelsea rather badly, and it's going to be a real indicator, and it might even be an indicator on which way this game swings.
Michael Coyote will hoist this long throw deep into the penalty area, only half-headed away. Damsgaard tried to hit it on the volley, and then the ball is nodded clear by Joachim Andersen at the heart of the Fulham back line. It's come back out to the Brentford right, near side. Yarmoliuk wriggling his way towards the dead ball line, away on that right-hand side in front of the goal. That is the Hammersmith end of the ground, and Brentford have another throw, this time level with the edge of the 18-yard area. And they specialise from long throws, which are back in vogue in the Premier League. They've scored 7 in the top flight from long throws since the start of last season, and they got one in the League Cup in midweek as well.
Yeah, and as I say, I've seen a lot of teams in the Premier League attempt long throws, and they get sort of, well, I wouldn't call them long throws personally, Joe, but certainly Brentford can find good distance.
How fans in football have changed. You probably wouldn't have seen this 3 or 4 years ago. Coyote hurls the ball into the penalty area from the right, punched up into the air by Leno, who's then able to claim with the second attempt, to the cheers of the Fulham fans. Quick throw out to the near side, and Sessegnon just shy of halfway. He feeds the diminutive King, who'll pop it back to Anderson, right of the two centre halves. And now here's Kenny Tete on the far side of the field, the right fullback position. It is a game that really matters, this, to both sets of fans after a dramatic day in the Premier League. The 5:30 kick-off finished Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1. Chelsea had Robert Sanchez sent off inside 5 minutes. Manchester United had Casemiro, who ultimately scored the winning goal, sent off just before half-time. But United hold on to win, and will try and bring you the reaction from Ruben Amorim and Enzo Maresca at half-time here on Talk Sport. Elsewhere today, Leeds 3-1 winners at Wolves, who are still without a point. Graham Potter under big pressure. West Ham 1, Crystal Palace 2. It finished level at Turf Moor between Burnley and Nottingham Forest. Likewise at the Amex, Brighton 2, Tottenham 2. Tottenham were 2-0 down in that game, and Liverpool 2, Everton 1. So Liverpool top the table, the only team with a 100% record. This is Talk Sport. Fulham on the attack, inside right channel. King forced towards the corner flag by the much taller Collins, towering over King. And in the end, it's gone out of play for a Brentford throw at the Putney end of the ground, away to the left-hand side, close to those very vocal Brentford fans who gave their team rapturous applause before the game. And as I say, this is always a ground, Craven Cottage, that is enjoyable to go to, a ground of tremendous character, and there are tight confines here in the Johnny Haynes stand with its multiple pillars. The wind is sweeping around the stadium, and we're only 10-15 rows or so from the edge of the pitch. It's a bit of a throwback as Van den Berg knocks the ball back to Kelleher. He blazes it long downfield. That seemed to get held up in the wind, and then Bassi is beaten to it by Jordan Henderson, who you mentioned, Stuart Pearce, just before kick-off, a player that you've worked with before, and he really has enjoyed something of a renaissance so far at Brentford.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted to see him back in the Premier League personally. You know, I know there was some criticism about him going to Saudi to play his football, but I've worked with him. He's captained my team at under 21 level, and I tell you what, as a leader and a guiding influence, and most to the point, Thomas Tuchel's brought him back into the England fold for his influence around the place, you know, and that tells you everything.
Sander Berge skips across to win the ball back for Fulham on the halfway line. Tall and slender, the former Burnley man, Sander Berge, who is a regular in that midfield too, alongside Sasa Lukic these days. There was a flurry of late activity in the transfer market at Fulham, at a point where the squad looked very thin indeed. In fact, they made the fewest signings of all Premier League teams in the summer, whereas while it was continuity here, and 3 miles or so down the road in West London for Brentford, it was anything but, with all the changes on and off the pitch. King is fouled by Collins, and that'll be a free kick for Fulham, about 6 yards into the Brentford half, on the halfway line, almost directly in line with our commentary position here, and the atmosphere is just as lively as you would expect. Talk Sport 0-0 and 5 minutes play.
Yeah, Josh King is operating sort of either side of the two holding midfield players for Brentford. He'll look to try and get on the ball, get on the half turn, and see if he can feed the strikers.
Alex Iwobi surging forward from the halfway line, 25 yards out. The shot rasps forward against the legs of Collins and deflects away to safety. Collins really was the first man there, and the ball is out on the far side of the field for Fulham. Kenny Tete has possession right in front of the two dugouts, where Marco Silva and Keith Andrews, both dressed all in black, identically dressed, standing either side of each other on the halfway line. Here goes Berger, edge of the centre circle. He's midway into the Brentford half now. Fulham on the attack, with King having picked up their first Premier League victory of the season last weekend. Sessegnon down by the left corner of the penalty area, and Sessegnon, who has been Fulham's regular left back so far this season. Of course, Anthony Robinson has had 1 or 2 injury issues. Anderson just shy of the halfway line, and Fulham have gone back into their own half, and they're content to keep easy possession here. But given all the changes at Brentford, Stuart, how impressed have you been with the way that Keith Andrews has started? We'll get a word in just a moment, because Fulham are coming forward here. King with his back to goal, dodges it wide to Iwobi. Lovely reverse ball up the inside left. Sessegnon tries to cross. He's beaten Collins to it. Down by the dead ball line. Collins is there, and actually a goal kick's been given.
Yeah, that could have been dangerous on Collins. Sessegnon's burst into the box there near the touchline, and Collins had to be very careful with his challenge, and managed to get a goal kick out of it. Yeah, I think Andrews has done brilliant. I've got to say, to be thrust in as he has done, he shows great trust and faith in Brentford and the hierarchy, putting him in charge. But I think he's taken to it really well. I feel half sorry for him as well. They've sold the goals, they've sold the assists in the team, but they seem to have come out and started reasonably well, and he knows the style of play that he wants to adopt, and the set plays are going to be a big part of that.
He was the set piece coach, as well as being an assistant to Thomas Frank last season. Thomas Frank, whose Tottenham team secured a 2-2 draw from 2-0 down away at Brighton earlier today. You heard that as we went around the grounds on Talk Sport on Game Day Live, and we'll do that tomorrow from 1:30 with Sam Mata facing the team. Early ball by Pinnock down the inside left for Brentford. Far side is Igor Thiago, the burly front man, who is a very good technician as well, and he's held it up in front of Anderson here, and it'll be a free kick to Brentford in the left wing position far side. Fulham 0, Brentford 0 on Talk Sport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Fulham against Brentford live right now. Search Now Sports, and of course it's not just throw-ins, is it, Stuart Pearce, that Brentford can really threaten from. There's just so much aerial ability in this team, and indeed actually it is a long throw again for Coyote.
Yeah, I think maybe the ball had just gone out of play before the challenge arrived. It was certainly a foul, there's no doubt about that, and as I saw a couple of weeks ago, once you get Bassey and Anderson pulled into the wide areas,
Coyote hurls it near post, very flat, and the ball bounces down and is gathered by Leno on his goal line. Well, everybody's spoken about these long throws and the potency that Brentford have got. You'll remember Rory Delap, Stuart, from a few seasons ago on the Delapometer. That was pretty good, I think.
Exactly right there. He's thrown it in and he's kept it really low. It's all defenders have jumped for it and missed it, and it's literally got caught between Leno's legs, and he got very, very fortunate that he's basically sat on it on the goal line.
It was incredibly flat and pacey, which is very difficult to defend. Fulham at the other end. Sessegnon. Fulham fans on their feet. Left wing position. Early cross to the back post, and Muniz couldn't get there. The number 9 lurking in the middle. So often makes an impact for Fulham off the bench. Rodrigo Muniz. And from the start again tonight, and that cross from Sessegnon is out of play. A lively start, but Fulham 0, Brentford 0.
Yeah, it's interesting watching the two diverse styles of play. Brentford are trying to play and build up when they can, but certainly set plays are a big part of what they're trying to achieve today. Fulham playing through the thirds, trying to affect the game, and on that occasion Sessegnon just put a little bit too much on it.
Headed by Bassey on the halfway line for Fulham, and Lukic trying to get it under control. He couldn't do so, neither could Harry Wilson on the far side. Harry Wilson, who memorably scored 2 late goals in this fixture last season, 2 stoppage time goals to win it for Fulham. That was a game live on Talk Sport, and there's a throw to Brentford just shy of halfway. Square from Lewis Potter to Damsgaard. Fulham very quick on the press, and they've won it back, and here is King escaping the attentions of the back line, wriggling his way to the edge of the penalty area, tried to get the shot in, and it was turned away in the end by Collins. I think sheer weight of numbers, and Van den Berg helping out there. Brentford managed to get it away, and Damsgaard the Dane is back on the ball now. Over halfway to Henderson, ball squared in field to Igor Thiago, midway into Fulham territory, and then Bassey is caught where it really hurts off the pass of Henderson, and he's gone down and he's rolling around on the floor.
Joe, it's all right for you to have a wry smile on your face, but you know, and I know how much that hurts. Faye doesn't. She sat there and said, "Get up, what's the problem?" All us gentlemen in the stand have just winced.
Well, there are some smiles from some of the Fulham fans around us as Bassey is helped to his feet. And yes, readily acknowledge, I'm glad to be sitting here, not there. Coyote, he's not going to take a long throw from near the halfway line. I mean, maybe he could, but it is a throw that's about 15 yards into Fulham territory. Coyote goes backwards, but it is quite a long throw. High to Collins, and now Pinnock, the left-sided centre-half. 3 big centre-halves for Brentford, all 6'4". Van den Berg, Collins and Pinnock, and now Lewis Potter over in the left wing back position. Pinnock back to Kevin Kelleher, who of course is very much the number 1 these days. They lost their goalkeeper over the summer. Mark Flecken did Brentford as well, after he moved away from the club. Henderson on halfway, early ball down the middle aimed at Igor Thiago, but not quite right in terms of the direction, and all the way through to Leno, 0-0.
Yeah, both centre forwards in this game have got an expectation and an onus on them to hold the ball up. I think if they can do that and do that well, it might well give their varying teams the ascendancy.
Tete, bright orange boots on, square pass to Berger just outside the centre circle, and now Iwobi will meander towards the edge of the penalty area. Lots of dark brown shirts in front of him, as Wilson steps in field from the right, little back heel with his left foot into the path of Lukic, who really tried to fizz it goalwards. That hit Pinnock, and Fulham win it back again, and quickly. Fulham, as you might expect, given the style of the two sides, look the more likely in open play. Is that fair, Stuart Pearce?
Yeah, it definitely is. As I say, they're playing through the thirds pretty well. Sessegnon on this wing's been into a decent wide area on occasion, and the pitch as well, it's been heavily watered, and a couple of efforts have been blocked at the moment, but it's certainly worth an effort.
It looks pretty immaculate, doesn't it? King with his back to go on edge of the penalty area, square to Sessegnon, onto the left foot, force wide, but he finds Iwobi to pull it back across, low into the penalty area, and Wilson with the shot. It dropped to him, it took a deflection, and it goes behind for a corner to Fulham, 0-0.
Yeah, that was the beauty of that hold-up play that I spoke about earlier. It wasn't from a deep line ball forward, it was a ball from wide into the box, but Muniz was the one who held it up and set it back to his teammate for the effort.
It just took a nick off Collins. Wilson, who loves the goal against Brentford, and not just in this fixture at Craven Cottage, but scored the winner at the G-Tech last season as well. Corner to Fulham, and Lukic is going to place the ball down. Plenty of white shirts forward here for the home team. Putney under the ground, which is split between home and away fans. Lukic, one arm up into the air, right-footed in swinging delivery, into the near post. Kelleher makes the save, instinctive, punched it away. Header square by Anderson, out to the right-hand side, and Wilson level with the edge of the penalty area. Here come Fulham again. Anderson chips the ball to the back post, and headed behind by Van den Berg. Fulham are getting closer and closer.
Well, we've been waxing lyrical about Brentford's prowess from set plays, but it was Fulham who got first contact on that corner, and it just skimmed out, and Kelleher, he almost flapped it, didn't he? I don't know whether it was a punch or a slap in many ways, but it was enough to keep it out the goal.
Unorthodox, I think it hit Anderson on the back in the end. Fulham 0, Brentford 0, and standing over it again is Lukic, and they've really flooded the 6-yard box here with attacking intent. Fulham. Lukic once more in swinging from the near side, high to the back post this time, and it hit Anderson, deflects into the path of Wilson, who scoops it back in high. Muniz trying to get underneath, but couldn't do so, looped the ball up into the air with his head, and Kelleher makes the grab, but the former Liverpool goalkeeper looks a bit vulnerable from these set plays in the early stages. It is still 0-0.
Yeah, it certainly looks as though Fulham have had a good look at that. He's decided to stay on his line and let his defenders deal with anything. Anderson was the one who got the first contact, and when it come back in, Muniz probably, instead of heading for goal, should have just kept it alive.
Well, it's a busy week of football coming up on the Talk Sport Network, with the return of the League Cup third round next Tuesday and next Wednesday on the network. Lincoln-Chelsea. Chelsea beaten today at Manchester United in the Premier League on Talk Sport on Tuesday night. Liverpool, who were winners in the Merseyside derby earlier, will take on Southampton on Talk Sport 2. And Wednesday on the network, Port Vale against Arsenal in the League Cup on Talk Sport. Real Betis against Nottingham Forest. Forest back in Europe, and they are live on Talk Sport 2. Aston Villa against Bologna is on Thursday evening in the Europa League, and that is a Talk Sport commentary for you. Calvin Bassett.
Some exciting games coming up, Joe. I'm up at the Port Vale game, but I'll have one eye on the Forest result, that's for sure.
I bet. The Forest and England legend Stuart Pearce with us tonight. Wilson infield from the right. Tete scoops in a first-time cross towards Muniz at the back post, and he was well marshalled by Van den Berg, but Brentford can't clear effectively. Iwobi trying to dance down the left-hand side away from Damsgaard. Very elegant motion there of Iwobi, and then with his back to goal, Wilson to Berger. Lukic 25 yards out, low shot just beyond the far post. Kelleher plunged to his right hand side, and in the end it was a couple of yards wide of the target. 0-0, but Fulham looked the more likely.
Well, Fulham not afraid to have a go. That was the third effort, even this early on in the game, but the first two got blocked by good defending. On that occasion, squirmed through the defensive back line, but the accuracy wasn't there, sadly.
Lukic, who can hit them, though his only Fulham goal was back in March of 2024. Unlucky not to hit the target there. And Fulham have got a throw in their right back position on the far side, which Kenny Tete is going to take. A Premier League double over their local rivals last season. Just 3 miles or so between the two clubs. Henderson gets in front of Muniz to roll the ball all the way back to Kevin Kelleher. In the Championship today, maybe the biggest talking point, Sheffield United 0, Charlton 1. So Sheffield United without a point in their first 6 matches, and no new manager bounce for Chris Wilder, back at the club for the 3rd time. And Pinnock will look long for Brentford, high up the left-hand side, and it's going to go through to Leno. I think, as Sam was saying, Sam Matterface on commentary earlier, that something like they've had in their last 6 managerial appointments, Sheffield United, it's been Chris Wilder for 3 of them. And
listen, he's been around the block, he knows the game inside out, and I tell you what, he's got a real love for the football club. I'm absolutely delighted to see him back.
Plenty of time to turn it around. Bradford top of League One after winning at Cardiff. As they give it away, Fulham. Damsgaard into the penalty area, punishes them, rolls the ball into the bottom corner. It was the youngster King with the mistake, and Damsgaard was there, deadly from the edge of the box. He just placed it beyond Bernd Leno, who had no chance, and Brentford, against the run of play, strike first in the West London derby, and Josh King will hang his head. Fulham 0, Brentford 1.
Yeah, brilliant press there by Brentford, but the ball was played from Leno into Josh King. He's happy to receive the ball. He got a bit greedy trying to find a pass, and Damsgaard, fantastic finish, cool head, picked the ball up, cool head, and he literally passed it into the corner and wrong-footed Leno in doing so. But listen, great press from Brentford. The young man Josh King, he'll learn from that, and credit to his teammates, they've got round him to try and get his head up again, but a poor mistake at the back.
Well, Damsgaard was so calm and so cool, he made it look easy. It was such a simple goal, his first of the season, and Brentford take the lead in a very difficult moment for the teenager King, who has been one of Fulham's outstanding players so far this season, but it was a naive mistake. He didn't appear to be looking up at all, Stuart Pearce, and the pass was a really poor one.
Yeah, it was. He should have just dotted it back into Anderson. He's trying to get a little bit greedy on his pass, Joe, and whip it round the corner into a midfield player, and Damsgaard was there waiting for it.
Henderson clears the ball downfield for Brentford. Inside right is Shada, dead ball line, pulling it back into the penalty area, but Igor Thiago nowhere near it, and Fulham are there to retrieve possession with Tete. I think he might have got a call from the goalkeeper that there was no threat coming in behind him.
No, as I say, Shada and Thiago working into these channels, trying to pull Bassi around and Anderson around will be a major threat.
Welby's dink into the box towards Muniz, and it was punched away by Kelleher, and the referee's given a free kick for a foul on Ethan Pinnock. So Brentford 1-0 up, live on Talk Sport in the West London derby.
Well, he would have stopped the game anyway for a clash at, well, a bang on the head. He's holding his head, he's flat out there. He's just told the referee that he's okay, but the Fulham players are up in arms, really. They're claiming that Kelleher was the one who had contact.
Well, Pinnock is going to have to be treated here. Here come the 2 physios. It is 1-0 to Brentford on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent a Car, whatever it is, they're here for it. And prolonged treatment here for Ethan Pinnock.
Yeah, we've just had a look at the replay again. It was Kelleher who's come and cleared him out, and no wonder the Fulham players are incensed, and Pinnock isn't the sort of player that stays down readily. Let's hope he's okay.
Well, the Brentford fans are cheering behind the goal. A few words from Keith Andrews for his players, and Marco Silva likewise, and Fulham will be really disappointed because they were in control of the game, it looked like, in an error out of nothing from King. But give credit to Damsgaard, there would be certain players who in that situation on the edge of the area, they might have panicked, but certainly there was a total calm and poise from Mikael Damsgaard, and just steered it beyond the goalkeeper, and that's the opening goal of the game for the visitors.
Yeah, as I say, the main thing is, I think with Damsgaard, the coolness that he showed there, he just wrong-footed Leno and slid it into the corner. And this is looking a little bit worrying for Pinnock. He's been down for a long time. As I say, he's a tough lad. He's not often down. I think they're just being precautious potentially, hopefully.
Raucous noise from the Brentford fans as Pinnock remains down and still being treated here, though he is sitting up on the field of play. And Brentford have their next game against Manchester United in the Premier League, and that'll be live next weekend on Talk Sport. Among our Premier League commentaries, there are actually a host of big games. Tottenham against Wolves this time next week. Wolves are yet to even pick up a point after being beaten by Leeds today, and Graham Potter's West Ham go to Everton. And Graham Potter under big pressure after West Ham were beaten again today.
Well, there's an interesting game.
Oh yes,
for many reasons. So everyone will be glued to that one. Interestingly, and we just looked at the goal again on replay. Damsgaard's done brilliant. To be fair to him, he's read the pass. That pass could have gone back into Anderson for the safety, but Kings decided to turn it right round the corner and try and find the right back Tete. And he read it brilliantly, I've got to say.
Good to see Pinnock back on his feet. He'll come on again shortly. Brentford temporarily down to 10, but they lead by a goal to nil. And there's a confidence about Brentford tonight, and a sense that Keith Andrews, for all the doubts after what people saw at Nottingham Forest on the opening day, he slotted in pretty seamlessly in the transition. And somebody who knows the club really well, has been smooth so far. Pinnock was still waiting for him to come back on, and Kelleher has given it away, the goalkeeper. He's helped out by Lewis Potter, who hammers it away downfield. Now Pinnock comes on. Igor Thiago chasing a long ball down towards the dead ball line, and he's all over the back of Calvin Bassey, and that's a free kick to Fulham, Stuart Pearce.
Tell you what, I'd like to see this again. I like always, I think players get there first, plant their feet, and down they go. I may be totally wrong on that one, but I'm not sure I was. But there's been Thiago and Sharda galloping into these channels and causing the odd problem to Fulham.
Flick by Muniz down the middle. Wilson is after it, hooked away by Pinnock up into the dark evening sky, and quite a strong wind here tonight under the floodlights. Coyotes throw for Brentford, right back position, little square ball from Henderson, and they are comfortable at the moment. Brentford leading at Craven Cottage by a goal to nil, but they'll be wary of a Fulham comeback. And Fulham left it very late here last season to win 2-1, and they also came from 2-1 down to win 3-2 in the reverse fixture. Pinnock, left corner of the penalty area, chip forward to Igor Thiago, who chests it back to Yarmoliuk. Little dink over the halfway line. Yarmoliuk, who has started every Premier League game so far this season for Brentford, but he can't find the on-rushing Lewis Potter, and that's a throw to Fulham in the right back position. And Fulham just need to pick it up again. They look a bit deflated in terms of energy after conceding that opening goal, and of course there was the stoppage after the injury to Pinnock. Now Muniz goes down, he's quickly on his feet again, and Pinnock clears long. Little flick by Igor Thiago, Brentford's number 9. Kevin Sharda down by the corner of the penalty area. Bassey gets in front of him. Sharda, tangle of legs on the dead ball line here, and Bassey loses out, and Sharda does very well against the very strong central defender to win Brentford a corner.
Yeah, as I say, my first viewpoint of Fulham this season was that game at Chelsea, where they defended in the first half really well when they weren't being pulled around a little bit, defending deep, compact, when they got pulled around a little bit. And this home game's a point in case. Getting pulled, the centre-halves, into these wide areas, they get exposed, especially with Sharda's pace.
Corner at the home end, the Hammersmith end, dinked in by Damsgaard. Leno punches away one-handed, and free kick given by the referee for a foul, an apparent foul on the former Arsenal goalkeeper, all in red. And these in-swinging corners with players trying to block the goalkeeper are becoming such a threat for Premier League teams up and down the table, Stuart Pearce.
It is, and I think the wording that you used there, apparent, I didn't see a foul there, having watched the replay. So
the foul was given, whether it looks obvious is another question. Goalkeepers, they always get those decisions though, right?
Well, they seem to. I saw one at Old Trafford not so long ago, a couple of games ago, that wasn't given.
Well, they were cheering, at least the majority were, at Old Trafford today after the Chelsea goalkeeper Robert Sanchez was correctly sent off early on, and Manchester United went on to win it 2-1 in the 5:30 kick-off. And you'll hear from Ruben Amorim and Enzo Maresca at half-time on TalkSport. The ball bounces down to Anderson, the Fulham central defender, forward to Lukic, who gives it away, and now Schade on the edge of the penalty area, forced wide by Bassi. Schade from the angle tries a cross-come shot that hit Bassi and flew over the top for a Brentford corner, and once again Fulham careless in possession. This time Brentford can't quite punish them.
Yeah, architects of their own downfall at the moment. Fulham, certainly the goal, and on that occasion as well, coming to midfield, and it was just bounced back at his defence, and there was Schade waiting for it, but he just couldn't get away from Bassi enough to get a free shot away.
Well, Fulham under threat here, already 1-0 down. Damsgaard will take another corner. Fulham fans on their feet behind the goal. They brought everybody back to defend it. This is out-swinging, floated high to the back post. Leno punches away on the corner of the 6-yard box. That looked more of a foul than the previous one, and it is given again. Leno dealt with that corner well and was caught late.
Yeah, he did. He went beyond the far post, got a good fist on it, and was clattered just as he got shot of the ball.
Neil Smith-Rowe among the Fulham substitutes tonight, and he's warming up on the far side as we look at it. Sessegnon has the ball on the halfway line. Fulham go back to Bassi, midway inside his own half of the field. Fulham, who have now conceded from open play for the first time in the Premier League this season. Fulham 0, Brentford 1, half an hour gone. Berger under pressure, midway inside his own half, had to react very quickly to roll it back hurriedly to the goalkeeper. The clearance from Leno isn't great, bounces shy of halfway. Jordan Henderson in a tussle with King, who gets the better of him, surges into the Brentford half. Out wide on the right hand side is Harry Wilson, who jinks in field, deflection on the cross, loops up towards Sessegnon, wins the header at the back post, but Collins is there to beat King to it. Crucial second ball, and vital that Collins won it. He gets it away. Igor Thiago forward over the halfway line. Right in front of his is Yarmoliak. Good feet in a tight area, but this time Berger and Bassi combine to win it back for Fulham, and the atmosphere picks up again with Fulham seeking an equaliser. 1-0 down on TalkSport.
Yeah, it's a pretty even game. As I say, it's that mistake with the back pass that split the teams at the moment.
Oh, good turn by Sessegnon in the area. Kelleher spills it, Muniz to the rebound, lofts it over the top from the angle and onto the roof of the net. Not convincing from Kevin Kelleher. Maybe there was a bobble in front of the goalkeeper, but he should be holding on to that. And then Rodrigo Muniz. It was a difficult effort from the rebound, and he could only spoon it over the top.
Yeah, you're spot on there. He should have held that. It's bounced before him, but it's come up at a reasonable height where he should have clutched it and brought it into his chest, but he's ended up not doing that. And Muniz, unfortunate tight angle, couldn't get it on target.
Football every day of the week on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, as you'd expect. And tomorrow our next live commentary will be from the WSL, the top two, or the top two at least at the start of the weekend. Both unbeaten, both with 2 wins from 2 in the new campaign. Manchester United against Arsenal, and the Monday night football comes from the Championship, Millwall against Watford. Both games are live on TalkSport 2, so always worth, especially at this time of the season with all the games that are going on, the excitement that Stuart mentioned earlier, always worth downloading our free app, and then you can be across everything. High ball downfield by Pinnock, flicked header away by Anderson. It's dropped to Schade. He collects the ball inside the area. Bassi comes across with help from Sessegnon. That was an uncharacteristic error from the Fulham captain Anderson. And once again, Brentford and Schade might feel that he could have made more of that. They get a corner. I just wondered whether a player who is confident at the moment, Stuart Pearce, might have hit that on the half volley even.
Yeah, potentially. As I say, it was Anderson. Instead of just clearing his header, he's trying to keep possession with a header, and I think Brentford are certainly capitalising on this at the moment. You know, these loose passes in and around their final third.
This is the latest in a series of corners that they've won since going 1-0 up. The 33rd minute, driven by Damsgaard towards the edge of the penalty area, and the referee has spotted a foul this time on the Fulham number 8, Harry Wilson, a former Liverpool man who quickly scampers to his feet, and Fulham have another free kick inside their own 18-yard box. At the moment, the latest odds with Betfair, our official betting partner on TalkSport, with our Premier League coverage. Fulham are 7-2 to come back and win, and Brentford 5-6, and the draw at 9-4. That's all thanks to Betfair, playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair, 18 plus, and do visit gambleaware.org. Headed by Lukic, looping into the midway point of the Brentford half, headed away by Van den Berg easily. Then Anderson on the stretch cuts out the ball towards the left, and Schada's touch is heavy, run back by Berger, quick ball down the right, Wilson taking on Pinnock, Wilson goes on the outside, chips in the cross, Van den Berg tried to chest that down to Henderson, calmest man in Craven Cottage, and he just about got away with it.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was calmness, Joe, or the fact it just arrived on his chest and had to do something with it, but listen, no harm done. Game set up nicely, I think. Brentford sitting back, soaking up pressure, pressing really high when they have to in the final third, knowing full well they've got the height at the back line to win the headers if they do go from back to front, Fulham.
Maybe I've given the Dutchman Van den Berg too much credit there.
No, you're right, I'm wrong, Joe, don't worry.
I'm not sure about that. Here's Iwobi surging infield for Fulham, early ball into the penalty area, looking for Muniz. A little too much on it before it goes to Kelleher, but the Fulham fans around us seem to like the idea, like the intent anyway, but it is still Fulham 0, Brentford 1 in the Premier League today. Wins for Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, for Crystal Palace at West Ham, for Leeds a great win, 3-1 at Wolves, who are still without a point, and Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1. The full-time score at Old Trafford, a turbulent first half in particular, when one player from each team was sent off. Brighton 2, Tottenham 2, and Burnley 1, and Nottingham Forest 1. The other full-time scores from the Premier League today, and as I say, we'll go around the grounds tomorrow for all the goals as they go in from 1:30 with Sam Matterface from the TalkSport team. Sunderland against Aston Villa, Arsenal against Manchester City is a huge game, and Bournemouth against Newcastle. We'll bring you all the goals as they go in. With 10 minutes of the first half remaining, Keith Andrews certainly the happier of the two head coaches so far. Brentford go backwards to Collins, the captain, middle of the trio of centre halves, and now Coyote in front of us here. Right back, who has always looked very impressive whenever I've seen him in action. Van den Berg chipping the ball down the right for Igor Thiago. Now he's reached the edge of the Fulham penalty area. He's being forced towards the corner, flanked by Bassi, and the challenge was firm but fair. Igor Thiago looks towards the referee, looks towards the assistant, who was right by it, and well, I thought that was pretty good assistant refereeing, Stuart Pearce. He'd have been tempted to give a foul, but wasn't the case.
No, I think if the assistant referee was on the other side of the pitch, he probably would have waved on the one where Bassey's got the ground earlier, but he certainly wasn't. But this game's really tight now, I think, on a knife edge still.
Lovely incisive touch from Josh King to glide away from Henderson, and he's beyond the arm of Leak as well, tearing down the left-hand channel. Across comes Coyote, sliding in. He's a young player and he's going to make mistakes, as he did for the goal, no question about it, but his attitude since then has been to try and set Fulham on the attack whenever he can.
Yeah, as I say, I spoke with a coach who's worked with him, and he said he's got one big trait as a footballer. He's got brilliant balance, you know, and I think we saw that in evidence there as he wriggled down the touchline.
Igor Thiago's layoff is a poor one from the middle of his own half, but Brentford have got plenty back behind the ball anyway. Brentford in their change kit tonight, this dark brown change kit with golden trim, and Fulham playing from right to left, all in white. Here is Anderson, the captain, halfway, square ball out to the far side. Sasa Lukic carries it forward into the Brentford half. Tete is on his overlap. Kenny Tete, who agreed a new contract in the summer, looked at one stage like he was going to join David Moyes at Everton, but Fulham managing to hang on to him, and King now draws the foul from Van den Berg. Fulham take the free kick quickly. Bassi out to the left in Iwobi. Brentford have got everybody back behind the ball. Fulham are going to have to be very incisive here. Tete forward to the edge of the penalty area. Lukic with quick feet and a left-footed curling shot that is blocked, leaps up into the air, and Brentford don't deal with it. Collins couldn't clear it away. Iwobi is there to tap it in for 1-1. Brentford punished for really poor defending in the build-up, and Alex Iwobi is there to snap it up and make it Fulham 1, Brentford 1.
Well, no one took charge of that. Once again, Fulham operating on the edge of the box, looking for a shooting opportunity, was half blocked, cannoned in the air, landed from a great height in the box, and at that stage no one took control in the Brentford back line of heading it or clearing it. There was a shout for handball, but Iwobi was Johnny on the spot and put it in the back of the net. Yep, there was a handball in there as well, by the way. Kayode, I think, would have been a judge to have handballed this. His arm away from his body as it's cannoned off his arm. The referee done well. I don't think he had chance to blow his whistle for a penalty, and we're 1-0.
Well, it's a messy goal for Brentford to concede, but Fulham will feel on the balance of play that they deserve to be level, and now the noise at Craven Cottage has just gone up a notch. Alex Iwobi, who has been one of the most consistent performers over the last year or so at Fulham, 9 goals last season in the Premier League, his best season in the top flight for goals, and he's scored the equaliser tonight. And here come Fulham with Iwobi again, edge of the D, plays it square. Wilson! Fulham have scored 2 in a minute. It's Harry Wilson with another goal in a West London derby. He just loves a comeback goal against Brentford. Fulham 2, Brentford 1, tucked it away beautifully, and Fulham have turned it around in the blink of an eye.
Well, incredible. As I say, it was 1-0 to Brentford. Brentford quite happy. The ball's cannoned around, and Nunes has fed Iwobi. Iwobi played a beautiful ball into Wilson. He's opened his body up as he's come in from the inside right position and just faded it, guided it, if you like, into the far corner. A wonderful finish. He made it look very easy, Joe, but I tell you what, that was a wonderful finish.
Well, how the game has turned. Fulham 2, Brentford 1, and just over 90 seconds between the 2 goals. Iwobi and Wilson for Fulham. Harry Wilson against Brentford again, and now Muniz has chested it down in the centre circle. He's jollied it beyond Yarmolenko, and Brentford have got to be careful here that the game doesn't get away from them.
Well, Fulham have found newfound confidence in this. Higher energy in their play, knocking the ball around, and more than confident in possession.
Bassi, forward of the centre circle, and on the angle to the near side, the left, and Iwobi and Sessegnon back to Bassi. It's a rip-roaring recovery, this, from Marco Silva's Fulham team. Tete, angle forward to the right-hand side. Lukic will play it back to Tete again. Fulham looking to produce the goods again in a West London derby against Brentford and win 3 successive league meetings for the first time since the 20s. Out on the left-hand side is Ryan Sessegnon. Back to Iwobi. Forward passing to the left edge of the penalty area. Josh King whips in an early cross. Kelleher flaps at that, and Neil Thiago can barely bring it down. Bassi hits a low shot. Oh, and it nearly came to Muniz, but he couldn't control it. Real pace on the drive from Bassi, who was going miles wide. Through to Kelleher. Fulham 2, Brentford 1. 3 minutes of the first half to go on Talk Sport, and here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, just you mentioned there Kelleher, he's flapped at a couple, hasn't he? And it's all very well maybe playing for Liverpool every now and then when you have the ascendancy in possession, but if you, I would, without being disrespectful, if you play for a team that are under more threat from corners and set plays, you're asked to do a lot more than just fielding the ball at the back.
Brentford looking for back-to-back home wins, and they could be in again inside the penalty area. Lukic trying to chip it back across from the dead ball line. He caught the wrong side of Yarmolenko. Collins had to come across to help him out, and Brentford suddenly looked really ragged defensively. Oh, and then Henderson challenges King, and King, I think, is going to get booked here for diving. He is. Be interesting to see it again. First instinct, Stuart Pearce.
I don't think the kid dived. I think there was contact there. My personal, great turn by him. He's touched it. Good decision, referee. He dived, or went down cheaply, I would say. And Henderson's got none of the ball though. It's an interesting one. I'm looking 2 and 3 times here. No, I think he's gone down cheaply. I don't think there was enough contact to give a penalty. If I was the referee, I'm not sure I'd have booked the kid either.
So King is yellow carded. Fulham leaded by 2-1 against Brentford here. And Harry Wilson, he's done it again, is the chant from the Fulham fans. This incredible record that he's got against Brentford. And Stuart Pearce, having played in so many games yourself, is there a team that you particularly look forward to going up against? I mean, first of all, just get another look at that Henderson-King tackle. Is there any sort of contact, and if so, is there enough, or is he going down early?
Well, certainly King's got to the ball, and he's the one who's towed it beyond Henderson. Henderson's flicked a leg out, but I don't think there was any contact there with King to induce a penalty. So certainly, you talk about teams I enjoyed playing against. Scored pretty readily against Crystal Palace. Had a good run against them. 5 goals in 6 games, which wasn't too bad at one stage. But
is there anything in it when you, Sessegnon is down, being treated, by the way, so the game has stopped. We'll be into stoppage time in a moment. But is there anything in it maybe for Harry Wilson when he sees Brentford on the fixture list? He thinks, right, I fancy a goal tonight.
Well, sometimes it's not who you play against, it's the individual you might be playing against, and I'm not sure that's the case here. Maybe there's someone that you enjoy playing against. You've got the beating of them, if you like, but I've got to say that was a wonderful finish. He made it look extremely easy.
First time left-footed, stroke beyond Kelleher, and Sessegnon is on his feet as we go into 5 minutes of added time. And we promised you it would be action-packed on Talk Sport. Once again, Saturday has delivered, and it's really delivered here in the first half. A long way still to go. Brentford took the lead through Mikael Damsgaard, but Fulham with 2 goals in very quick succession. It will be with the first, Wilson with a beautifully taken second, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, as I say, Brentford were pressing really well from the front and getting some joy, and obviously their goal come from that, and launching some long throws in and set plays, and they were the real threat first part of the first half. But Fulham have come into the game now. The game's being played further up the pitch in Brentford's area, and well, the turnaround over 90 seconds was incredible.
One a very messy goal, and one a beautifully created goal, and a real sense of style about the finish. We have had 90 seconds of 5 added at the end of the first half. Around Sessegnon back on the field for Fulham now, by the way. Collins with the ball back to his goalkeeper Kelleher, who has been quite a nervy presence tonight. So is that harsh or fair?
No, I think he has on set plays, definitely. He's come out, he's decided to stay at home for a couple where you thought, hang on, come and help your defence, and for the ones he has come for and got his hand on, it's been more of a slap rather than a really confident punch, I would say, Joe.
2 minutes of the 5 added play. Bassey starting to stride forward for Fulham. Bassey and Anderson, one of the most consistent centre-back pairings in the Premier League. Lukic over halfway for Fulham, now drifting into a more central area. On his outside is Tete, angled ball to Wilson on the right. He starts to dart infield, plays it back to Lukic forward down the inside right, lovely run that from Berger to the dead ball line, pull back towards Moniz, cleared away. It was Yarmoliuk in the way for Brentford. Collins will hoist it clear. Brentford have lost a lot of shape and seemingly a lot of the confidence in the play that they had at 1-0. Van den Berg smuggles it clear. Jordan Henderson breaks between the lines, lodges it forward, but Sessegnon intercepts before it can reach Schade. Oh, Iwerby fancied his chances against Coyote on the left, but Coyote wins it back, and now he counters down the middle. Early ball towards Igor Thiago, Bassi in the way. And Coyote didn't really have anybody else bar Igor Thiago to aim at. Fulham 2, Brentford 1, last couple of minutes of first half stoppage time on TalkSport. On a day of plenty of goals in the Premier League, late goals, and managers under pressure. Busy in the EFL as well, as Calvin Bassi is fouled and Fulham get a free kick. Some of the Fulham fans heading to the concourse areas ahead of half time.
Yeah, Schade a little bit frustrated there. He's in an offside position, he's walking back to get onside, and the linesman here has just flagged him offside. I didn't think he made any contributions to try and get involved in play, Joe, personally.
Well, Leno will take the resulting free kick, hammers it high downfield into Brentford territory. Up goes Pinnock with Moniz, and that will be a Fulham throw. Moniz has battled his way into the game against those three centre-halves. The Fulham number 9, he's been at the club for quite a long time now, 4 years or so.
Yeah, he's held the ball up better and better as the half's gone on, and I think that's absolutely crucial. So when the ball's gone forward from Brentford, it's been galloping, one of the two forwards galloping into a channel.
Stuart Pearce is with us tonight. Moniz goes down, no free kick, corner of the penalty area. Header away by Van den Berg for Brentford. Clever flick by Igor Thiago. Schade on the halfway line, racing forward. Can he beat Bassi? He's into the penalty area. It's a brilliant run by Schade, but Bassi did enough. Coming across, must have got a tiny glancing blow on that ball, and Fulham are able to clear it away. Schade's got real pace, but Bassi stuck with him impressively. Now Fulham counter at the other end. Iwerby can't force his way through the middle.
Yeah, I think he ended up, Bassi, doing enough by not doing anything, just running alongside him, and that was probably the wiser of the two things he could have done. You know, if he'd have dangled a leg, there could have been a problem.
Well, we've had the 5 minutes of added time, maybe just a few moments left. Of course, it is a minimum of 5 added minutes at the end of the half. And Brentford have got a free kick right at the end of it, and Kelleher is going to come forward because it's just shy of the halfway line, and they'll send all of the tall players in the side forward for this. Pinnock, Van den Berg, Collins all up there, Igor Thiago as well, hoisted high to the edge of the penalty area. Good header away by Sander Berger, and that's half time. A thrilling first half on the banks of the Thames, and in keeping really with the Premier League action that we've seen across the weekend so far on TalkSport. Mikkel Damsgaard gave Brentford the lead, somewhat against the run of play after Josh King's error in possession, but that is long forgotten now. Alex Iwerby pounced on defensive indecision to make it 1-1, and then the goal of the game by some distance, stroke turned by Harry Wilson, who loves a goal against Fulham's near neighbours, and he's turned a West London derby on its head again. At the break, Fulham 2, Brentford 1. Yes, and back-to-back London derbies for Brentford in consecutive weekends, having seen a first half lead wiped out by Chelsea before coming back to draw that game 2-2. Brentford 2-1 down here ahead of the second half after a really rousing Fulham fight back. Contrast in the style and quality perhaps of the two goals, but they all count. Iwerby with a scrambled equaliser, and then really the best bit of flair that we've seen in the game, Harry Wilson rolling the ball into the corner left-footed to make it 2-1. Still quite mild here on the Riverside, Thames side. Fulham 2, Brentford 1. And as we look over to the far side of the field where the dugouts are, and no changes for either team at the break. So we're back underway on TalkSport, and it's Fulham, the home team, with the advantage here. Craven Cottage, the actual cottage, just to the left-hand side, and that's where the teams emerge for each half. So they have to walk across the pitch to the brand new Riverside stand over on the far side of the field. As Fulham concede a free kick, Muniz on Collins. Collins, is he clutching his face here? A little slow to get to his feet, but eventually he does. So no changes. Fulham 2-1 to the good. Leno in goal. Tete, Anderson, Bassi and Sessegnon. Both teams unchanged. Lukic and Berger, the two deepest in the middle. King pushing on in front of them. Wilson and Iwobi, the two scorers in support of Muniz up front. And for Brentford, the goalkeeper is Kelleher in possession now. Out to Collins, the centre half. Pinnock and Van den Berg, the other central defenders. Lewis Potter, the left wing back. Coyote, the right wing back. Yarmoliuk and Henderson, who scoops the ball long. The two in the middle. Damsgaard further forward. Schade and Igor Thiago up front. And Schade nearly gets the ball in the area. Coyote might reach it. Good sliding challenge by Sessegnon after the deflection. Now Igor Thiago looking to bully his way down the right. A lot of supporters only just coming back to their seats. The concourse is always very busy at Craven Cottage. It's a Brentford throw. For a moment there, Stuart Pearce, it looks as though Coyote might be in for an equaliser. He's now going to take a long throw.
Yeah, it wasn't a clean attack by any means, you know, a bit hit and miss, but the ball bounced well for Brentford, and Coyote just got beaten to it with a really good slide challenge.
Well, here he is with the long throw again from the far side, the right touchline. Brentford from right to left in the second half, all in this dark brown away kit. The flick at the near post and tipped over by Leno. Clever flick by Nathan Collins. It was looping after the throw by Coyote, and Leno backpedaling just punches that onto the roof of the net.
Yeah, the reason why these throw-ins are probably more difficult to defend than corners, there's no pace on them. By the time they arrive in a headed height, the pace is off the ball, and if you're a defender, you can't clear with distance.
Damsgaard's corner in front of the Brentford fans is cleared away on the volley first time by Kenny Tete. The ball has gone back out to the Brentford right. Fulham all in white, of course, as Coyote delivers again. Collins there on the stretch. He was beaten to it by Sander Berger to poke it clear for Fulham. Harry Wilson, whose goal separates the two teams, is giving it away momentarily. Damsgaard can't make anything of it in the middle of the Fulham half, and Fulham have it back again. Calvin Bassey out to the left back position where the marauding King can dart forward towards halfway. No foul by Schade, but the 18-year-old has recovered to hold on to possession anyway. Close to 27,000 here tonight in West London. A proper local derby, and the Fulham and Brentford fans, it is one of the highlights of the season, this game. Bassey on the halfway line with a square ball to Tete, but it's Fulham again who are going to have the upper hand over their near neighbours as it stands. Fulham go back to Anderson. The two sets of subs for Fulham: Lecomte, the goalkeeper, Raul Jimenez, Kearney, Traore, Cuenca, Chukwumeze, Castagna, Kevin, who is excellent off the bench against Leeds, and Emil Smith-Rowe. And the Brentford subs: Valdemarsson, the goalkeeper, Hickey, Henry, Jensen, Fabio Carvalho, who started his career at Fulham, Ouattara, Aya and Yano. So there are certainly attacking options for both teams on the bench. Brentford need the goal though the most at the moment. Fulham 2, Brentford 1. In the centre circle is Berger striding forward, carries the ball into opposition territory. 4 minutes have been played in the second half, and Fulham from left to right towards the very busy Hammersmith end of the stadium. Tete out to the near side touchline, and Lukic, and Fulham don't need to force the issue here. Anderson with one of his trademark high diagonal balls. It's a lovely pass to feed Ryan Sessegnon is forward to cross, and it's a looping header, an own goal by Pinnock. It's happened again. Fulham, who won the game against Leeds United with an own goal at the Hammersmith end last weekend, have benefited here from another defensive error. Ethan Pinnock under pressure faced his own goal, and he's knocked it beyond a stranded Kelleher, who could do nothing about it. Perfect finish for Fulham, but a nightmare moment for Ethan Pinnock, and it's Fulham 3, Brentford 1.
Yeah, good build-up play by Fulham, patient, but it was that raking ball by Anderson that was the game changer, and when it went in, it was Collins who jumped, Ramones, I think it was, and both of them missed it, and Pinnock was just not expecting it. He tried to sort of cushion it almost, but he's cushioned it right in. Oh, it's hit him on the shoulder, I think, and it's gone right in the top corner. Kelleher, wrong-footed, could do nothing about it, but that's twice that ball's been in the box now, and Fulham have, Brentford have not dealt with it particularly well, and it's been very costly.
Well, just like Gabriel Goodmanson for Leeds last weekend, Pinnock, from a Fulham perspective, couldn't have placed it any better, and Lightning has struck twice at Craven Cottage. Another own goal, and this time they're 3-1 up. It was an injury time winner against Leeds. Brentford responding on the attack. Mikkel Damsgaard edge of the penalty area with a deflection on the pass. Berger is there to intercept, and Fulham can now break. And Brentford have not really responded since Fulham equalised in the first half, and Fulham have got a really vice-like grip on this game now. 6.5 minutes into the second half on TalkSport.
Yeah, they've grown in confidence with the goals, Fulham, as you would expect. They're a good passing side, no doubt about that. Well coached by Marco Silva, and to be honest, we are probably their best means of defence at this moment in time is just keeping possession of the ball in many ways.
Sessegnon down by the corner flag, a tangle with Coyote. Goal kick, says the referee, but there's a real jubilance about Fulham at Craven Cottage now, unbeaten here in the Premier League so far this season. They didn't end last season particularly well in terms of the home form, home and away really. They stuttered a bit towards the end, ended up finishing 11th in the Premier League, one place below Brentford as it was. Lewis Potter loses the ball on halfway, but he was fouled by a combination of Wilson and Lukic in the build-up, and that'll be a free kick to Brentford. So that Pinnock own goal has put Fulham 3-1 up. And more Saturday night football for you next week on TalkSport. Tottenham against Wolves. Spurs, who drew 2-2 with Brighton today. Wolves beaten at home by Leeds, and they are still without a point. Yellow card for Lukic. Free kick to Brentford, about 15 yards from the edge of the penalty area, left of centre. Yeah, Lukic is incensed, but his player's gone round him and he's just grabbed his shirt. I mean, to be fair, with a reaction like that after getting booked when you deserve to get booked, I'd be tempted as a referee to give him another one. Damsgaard standing over this for Brentford, and Jordan Henderson has come across as well to the near side. Henderson will leave it for Damsgaard to float the ball in, high right-footed on the diagonal up towards the back post where Pinnock was climbing. It's hooked back in by Lewis Potter, overhit there, and then it's spun off the head of Sharda straight to the feet of Josh King, who's so silky on the ball, but he has given it away here to Sharda, and that's another free kick. I think it was King with the foul, right in front of the referee. Brentford take the free kick quickly this time. Damsgaard in between two white shirts, but it's a poor pass straight to Anderson, the Fulham captain. Fulham 3-1 up and on the break. Wilson's ball to the centre circle finds nobody except for the tall Van den Berg, who's there to win it back for Brentford. Sharda away down the near side, the left, and Fulham have got a bit of breathing space. And you wonder, Stuart Pearce, how long Keith Andrews will leave it before he makes a change, maybe. Yeah, as I say, they've just got a bit of possession back now, Brentford. They want possession and territory, really, to keep forcing this Fulham team to defend. Henderson long into the penalty area, headed away by Anderson. It'll drop down to Yarmoliuk on his chest under pressure from Lukic into the path of Damsgaard. Wide left to Lewis Potter, led with the edge of the 18-yard box. Lewis Potter's cross hits Harry Wilson and goes out of play for another Brentford throw, and Lewis Potter will just place the ball down and leave it for Coyote, who comes across from right to left, and as Stuart was saying, this is almost as good as a corner for Brentford. Yeah, probably slightly better, I would say. As I say, the pace of the ball, the trajectory is pretty low, pretty sharp, but by the time it arrives at heading height, there's no pace on the ball. You just can't clear your lines as a defender. Coyote to the edge of the 6-yard box with a long throw. This one is well dealt with. Header away by Rodrigo Muniz amongst a crowd of bodies. Coyote's wriggled away from Wilson, but not beyond Tete, who clears. Josh King picks up possession. The 18-year-old nudges the ball forward, but Muniz not on the same wavelength, and he couldn't get there. King tussling inside, just inside the Fulham half. Good turn by Damsgaard, takes 2 out of the game. For Igor Thiago, it's come back to Damsgaard via Bassi's touch. Damsgaard spinning and turning, little pirouette on the edge of the D. In the way is Lukic. And Fulham settled the game down, they put it back again, but this is a better spell. Brentford having a lot of territory certainly in the game at the moment. And Keith Andrews, I think, will really be ruining the manner of at least a couple of the goals tonight, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, they certainly will. As I say, so will Fulham though. You know, in the 4 goals we've had scored, 3 of them have been, you know, both managers will look and coaching staff will look and say that was avoidable.
Liverpool, top of the Premier League, 2-1 winners over Everton at lunchtime in the Merseyside derby on TalkSport. Brighton 2, Spurs 2, Burnley 1, Forest 1, West Ham 1, Crystal Palace 2, Wolves 1, Leeds 3, and Chelsea beaten at Manchester United by 2 goals to 1. Game Day Live will take you around the grounds in the Premier League and in the WSL tomorrow from 1:30 with Sam and the team. Sam Matterfacia, host from the Emirates Stadium where Arsenal play Manchester City, and we'll have WSL commentary of Manchester United against Arsenal. Long throw forward by Sessegnon for Fulham, and that's an easy header away by the backpedaling Van den Berg. Berger's touch nudges the ball out to play. Marco Silva pacing up and down in his technical area, and Stuart Pearce, you've been in the opposite dugout to Marco Silva, and you were alongside David Moyes in the West Ham camp. He's a manager who's highly thought of, and he's always quite an energetic presence on the touchline, I think.
Yeah, he is. He was pretty energetic at half time when he was berating the referee as they were coming on the pitch. You know, he certainly knows how to set his team up. They're confident in possession of the ball, that is for sure.
And he's gained a lot of deserved plaudits for the way that he's established Fulham as a Premier League club, and the club record Premier League points tally last season. A Coyote over the halfway line for Brentford, Italian under-21 international, plays it back to Collins. So Brentford from right to left. Collins thumps the ball long. Schade gets him behind a slightly hesitant Bassi, who is not able to reach it. Schade hooks it back in, and then Igor Thiago, as Stuart was saying earlier, it was a looping scoop of a ball in, so no pace, and Igor Thiago couldn't get anything behind his header.
No, he had to generate all the pace, and I think his header come off of Anderson and just bounced into the happy hands of the goalkeeper. But once again, Schade and Thiago just working the space down the channels, and that's a tactic that Brentford are trying to keep employing when they can.
Brentford's next game is at home to Manchester United, live on TalkSport next Saturday. Jumping is Collins, it's hit his back, and no foul by Muniz, who's into the penalty area now! And he lashes it beyond Kevin Kelleher to make it 4 for Fulham in the West London derby. Muniz took it early from the angle, too much power for the goalkeeper, no foul on Collins. Fulham 4, Brentford 1, and it's turning into a rout.
This will be interesting now. Collins went down claiming he was fouled. He's got blood coming out of his mouth. I don't know whether that'll influence the referee. There's definitely been contact, but you've got to say when the referee played on, and rightly so with VAR, that's what it's there for. He played on, and Muniz, he's hit the ball on the half volley with violence, and it was a clinical finish, but will it get ruled out is the big question.
It didn't come off Muniz's arm, I don't think, in the build-up. Did it, Stu, or did it bounce off the shoulder of Collins?
They're suggesting that Collins is suggesting that the right arm of Muniz has caught him in the face, and something has, because he's got blood coming from his mouth.
VAR checking it, so what sort of contact are they looking for here then, Stuart? Is there an argument from a Fulham perspective that whatever he did, the motion of the arm might have been natural, or is it a foul?
Well, there was certainly contact. Something's made contact with Collins' mouth to draw the blood from it, as we've seen. And we're just looking at a replay now. Flailing arm, let's have a look, has just caught Collins. Now, whether they think this was intentional, whether there was enough in it, and I think he's going over to the screen now.
He is the referee, a very recognisable figure of Michael Oliver, one of the senior referees in the Premier League. Over to have a check on the monitor on the far side, and we're watching it on our miniature screen here in the press box with ref cam. So he's looking into a sea of Fulham fans in the lower tier of the Riverside, and he's watching the incident on replay again. Is it a foul? Is there sufficient contact, or his arm is flailing there, Muniz, as he jumps, and he jumps high in front of Collins. What's the referee looking for? I think he's made his decision.
I think there's enough there for him to rule this goal out, personally. But it's tight.
Are we going to be able to hear from Michael Oliver? Sometimes you can over the PA system. This would be 4-1 to Fulham if it's given. Michael Oliver.
Fulham number 9 makes no contact with the ball. The movement in the space with his arm. The final decision is direct free kick to Brentford.
I'll tell you what I think's influenced this. He's ruled the goal out, but what's influenced this is the blood coming from Collins' mouth. There's no doubt in my mind about that. As a referee, you look at that and think, wow. And VAR as well. They've seen it. There was a flailing arm, and if it hadn't induced probably the blood from the mouth, I'm not sure he would have totally ruled that out.
Anderson and Collins were arguing furiously with the referee about that. Marco Silva laughing on the far side touchline, and now having a chat with the fourth official. That was a difficult one, I think, in fairness to Michael Oliver, but my reaction was the same as yours, Stuart. If there hadn't been a cut to the face of Collins, is that a foul? If he doesn't need treatment, is that a foul?
Well, as
I don't know whether there's enough contact, is there really?
Well, there was enough to draw blood from his mouth, so in that respect. But there are grey areas in football. Nothing's clear cut, and I think that might have been on the edge.
So it's 3-1 to Fulham. The Muniz goal is ruled out after a VAR check. Not an easy decision for Michael Oliver. Lukic is fouled. Free kick to Fulham just in front of the near side touchline, and actually that disallowed goal has seemed to rile up the Fulham fans even more. So the free kick is taken quickly by Wilson. King is in on the angle inside the area, but he's overhit it, and the ball is screaming into the Hammersmith end.
Brilliant, really good to see there. It was Wilson got on the ball, and King set sail into the box, and he, just as it's come across his body, he's had a swipe at it, but couldn't control the effort. As I say, it's a good game. Brentford, if they want to stay in the game, have definitely got to get a next goal in this encounter, but the game's full of beans at the moment, Joe.
It always is, isn't it? They always produce lots of action, these two. We're 18 minutes into the second half, so over an hour gone. And it's 3-1 to Fulham against Brentford on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream the Premier League flexibly with a Now Sports day or month membership, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply. A lot of incident for Stuart and Faye to go through after the final whistle. We're on air till 10:30 tonight, but half an hour might not be enough to dissect all of the incident that we've seen so far, as Brentford are getting ready to make a change. Or we think that Rico Henry is going to come on shortly in place of Lewis Potter, so that'll be a straight swap at left back.
Yeah, Henry probably gallop forward that little bit more potentially.
Left wing back, I should say. Early ball from Henderson over halfway. Too keen Lewis Potter, who we think is about to come off. Led with the edge of the 18-yard box. Lewis Potter scampers infield, and it was a delayed decision to look square for Sharda. That allowed Fulham to get back, and it's cleared upfield high and long by Wilson, and great hold-up play by Iwobi. And then King with a quick pass out to the left, and Sessegnon. Marco Silva applauding his team, and applauding the way that they played out of defence, and the hold-up play, no doubt, of Iwobi.
Yeah, it's one of these games. I mean, it's high energy from both teams at the moment, but Fulham what they need to do at the moment is just keep possession, and take the sting out of the game almost, you know. They're still looking to get forward and create things, which is commendable, but probably the game from their point of view needs just possession-based football.
Well, here's that Brentford change. Rico Henry, who was only able to make 5 Premier League appearances last year because of injury. He, by the time the season ends, will have been at Brentford for 10 years. On he comes in place of Keane Lewis Potter. And Brentford seeing fit to reshuffle, and they've also sent Dango Ouattara, the club record signing, onto the pitch as well. That in place of Igor Thiago. Fulham are in here. Mistake by Coyote. Looping cross by Sessegnon, overhit to the back post. Wilson near side the right collects. 3-1 to Fulham. Back it goes to Tete. So a double change for Brentford with Ouattara onto the pitch. And Fulham getting ready to make a change of their own maybe. Kevin, who starred off the bench against Leeds last weekend, is going to get a little longer this time with 25 minutes to go, and Josh King gets a standing ovation. Listen to the cheers as he leaves the pitch. Great character from the young man, because yes, there was a mistake for the opening goal, but Stuart Pearce, I know you like the look of the player, he bounced back well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. As I say, it's how you bounce back from adversity is often the mark of the player and the person, and as I say, he's played his part in getting Fulham in front in this game, that is for sure.
So we've now got a club record signing from either team onto the field. Kevin replaces King. And Fulham on the attack straight away. Muniz back to goal, spins and turns into the area, could drop to Wilson. Oh, the ball's hit the post. It was like pinball in there, and the flag goes up belatedly. Must admit, Stuart Pearce, I don't know who got the final touch on that.
No, as I say, Brentford have been very, very loose with some of their defending work. The ball's gone in the box. It was carnage. It was bouncing round. Kelleher, credit to him, has got a left foot to it that ricocheted it onto the post, but the linesman's flag's gone up.
Brentford staring in the face of 3 straight away defeats here as we head into the final quarter of the game. Rico Henry with a great delivery to the back post and tucked behind by Sessegnon on the cover, like every good fullback should do before Coyote could get their corner.
Yeah, got his position right there and just saw it out for a corner just in case. But I've got to say, an incredible ball by Pinnock there. A raking pass up the channel, bisected the midfield straight to Rico Henry, who put a great ball in.
It is Fulham 3, Brentford 1 on TalkSport. Corner into the 6-yard box, headed away by Anderson. First touch for Kevin to sprint forward away down the left-hand side. We saw lots of those jinking runs against Leeds United, and he's fouled, held up on the retreat really there. Was Kevin by Collins, and the Brentford captain is booked, but it's his direct, pacey forward play, the Brazilian, the now former Shakhtar Donetsk man, which is really exciting the Fulham fans.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, Joe, that the song of Kevin is that catchy, if I'm being honest with you. Only the Fulham fans can sing that.
Not that catchy, not that imaginative either, to be honest. But maybe it'll evolve as time goes on. Just over 20 minutes to go. Slides clearance up into the air from Kelleher. Henry's header infield, and a bit slow to react, Yarmoliuk there. Iwobi won it back, and Muniz knocks it wide to Wilson, hugging the right hand touchline, all left foot. Nutmegs Henry, but nudged it too far ahead of himself. Pinnock was there to clear for Brentford, but Fulham have been, up to this point at least, would you say the better team? 3-1, and deservedly so?
Yeah, I think so. That would be fair to say. As I say, Brentford got the lift with the road sort of back pass, if you like, that created the first goal. But I think the quick fire 2 goals since then has been an ascendancy from Fulham, definitely.
Well, the live football is coming at an extraordinary rate at the moment, as Anderson's clearance hits the back of Rico Henry, and then Schade tries a cross. It was a defensive error from Fulham, and it's led to a Brentford corner. Last touch off Sander Berger. The League Cup returns Next week, Tuesday night, Lincoln Chelsea on Talk Sport, Liverpool Southampton on 2, Port Vale against Arsenal on Wednesday on Talk Sport, and Europa League commentaries as well. Forest on Wednesday night and Aston Villa on Thursday, both of those on Talk Sport 2. Delivery by Damsgaard into the box, and Leno has to tip the ball over the top, relatively solid in the end. Big right hand, and it's another corner from the opposite side, far side, right in front of the Brentford fans here. A very short distance from the edge of the pitch, these supporters.
You would say that Fulham at 3-1 are quite comfortable, but if Brentford get themselves a goal, this would be interesting.
Pinnock heads the ball down in the area, and it's hit Muniz. Headed that down and pasted Pinnock from a forceful delivery from Damsgaard. Well, that could have ricocheted anywhere off Rodrigo Muniz. In the end, it's behind at the... Put the end away to our left for another corner. 3-1 to Fulham.
Yeah, as I say, things will get nervous around here if Brentford do hit the back of the net anytime soon. And they're doing a crowd scene around Leno.
5 or 6 in front of the goalkeeper, who has to stay on his line. The corner's headed away though by Anderson. The ball bounces down midway inside the Fulham half, and Yarmolenko has to nudge it backwards to Jordan Henderson. Henderson looks from right to left, but Iwobi's there to intercept the pass in front of Damsgaard. Less than 20 minutes remain, and Fulham win a free kick. Foul on Lukic by Rico Henry. I think we might see some more Brentford changes shortly. I can see Christopher Ayer, the big defender, getting stripped and ready to go, and so too Vitaly Yanos. We mentioned the decision to disallow the Muniz goal that would have made it 4-1, and it was a tough decision for Michael Oliver, having been sent to the pitch side monitor. He made that announcement on the field, and I'll remind you what he said if maybe you didn't catch it completely clearly in just a moment. Fulham have the ball with Anderson. Anderson chips it high down the middle. Up goes Muniz. It's headed away by Collins. Good juggling by Wilson to nudge it wide to Sasa Lukic here. Back it goes to Berger. Fulham from left to right, all in white. And Lukic has slowed the pace of the game down. Tete back to halfway. And what Michael Oliver said on field, after review, Fulham number 9, that's Muniz, makes no contact with the ball and catches his opponent, that's Collins, in the face with his arm. The final decision, free kick to Brentford, no goal.
Yeah, that probably summed the situation up. It was a wonderful finish by Muniz as well. Near post, drove it past Gallagher, and that would have seen the game off. But why it stays like it is, if Brentford do get one back, could be an interesting finish on this game.
Absolutely, it's not over yet. Shada back to goal has held it up nicely, and he tried to knock a high ball down the inside left. It thundered off the chest of Anderson. Dango Ouattara hasn't really had a touch since coming on wearing the number 19 that Brown and Burma used to wear at Brentford, of course.
This is what Fulham have got to do. Not bother looking going forward, just keep the ball and slow the game and take the momentum out of the game. That should be their tactic now.
Okay, Tete in the right full-back position has won. Fulham have thrown the near side of the field, and a couple of changes to come from Brentford here. Christopher Ayer is going to replace Ethan Pinnock. And we mentioned Vitaly Yanel, good to see him recently returning from injury, and off goes Jordan Henderson, who had a really influential part to play against Chelsea at the G-Tech last weekend, but neither he nor Brentford just generally have really had the same grip on the game tonight. Fulham 3, Brentford 1. Tete, right back position on the near side. You're listening to Talk Sport. Long throw by Tete, headed away by Van den Berg. Lukic nods it square, and Iwobi will whip it wide to Sessegnon. And now Kevin always looking to dart forward. Kevin's touch in the end is a bit heavy, but he's so quick and direct. He just wants to race away from Coyote, who certainly is no slouch. But in the end, Kevin's touch a little heavy, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, the fans like him. You can see how they get excited here, Joe, when he receives the ball.
Van den Berg and Brentford have it back again, but Brentford are going to leave it very late themselves. They certainly did that against Chelsea last weekend, and they'll have to score too late on if they're to even salvage a point here. It looked so promising at one stage, but Fulham have responded to going a goal down in the West London derby emphatically. The ball is out of play for a Brentford throw. Oh no, free kick's been given midway inside the Brentford half, near side their left.
Yeah, Damsgaard just got caught there. Referee done really well, played advantage, but there was none.
A very lively atmosphere among the 27,000 or so here tonight. And the vast majority will head home happy. The ball is at the feet of Collins to Jannes. Blue boots on the halfway line. Back to Collins again here, and now it's with the feet of the number 4 Van den Berg. Not moving the ball forward with a great pace here, Brentford, and Fulham allowing them to have possession in the middle third of the field, and Brentford not looking a great threat at the moment. Here's the big defender Ayer, angled to the right, and Coyote right in front of the Fulham dugout. Marco Silva issuing instructions. Keith Andrews sitting down just to Silva's left in front of that sparkling Riverside stand. Here is Van den Berg on the halfway line again. Van den Berg chips the ball high out to the left. Harry Wilson is there to control it for Fulham on his chest, hooks it over his shoulder and away from danger. So Fulham 3, Brentford 1 with 13 and a half minutes to go. Betfair, our official betting partner of Premier League coverage on TalkSport, has the latest odds. I'll give you those in a moment as Brentford look to raid down the right, and Ouattara wins the throw. Quickly those odds: Fulham 1-50 to win, Brentford 150 to 1 to come back, the draw 20 to 1. That's all thanks to Betfair, playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair, 18 plus, and do visit gambleaware.org. Brentford long throw coming up with Coyote. They've looked dangerous on more than one occasion, but haven't scored from one yet tonight. Here it comes from Coyote, flat into the penalty area, and Ouattara at the second attempt has hooked the ball over via deflection. Michael Oliver gives the corner.
Yeah, that wasn't far over the crossbar. The deflections probably just give it a bit more elevation, but you can't help thinking every time you see a result from Brentford that it was a solid deflection there.
Corner into the near post by Damsgaard is headed away, and Fulham not able to break. Coyote under pressure from Wilson, and he just about jinks away from him in the end there, Stu.
Yeah, he did. Got lucky, really. Doesn't look the cleanest with his feet. Good athlete.
Tete clears long for Fulham, very composed. Muniz tries to chest the ball square to the onrushing Lukic. Brentford have it back. Shada, the number 7, runs into Tete, loses his footing but manages to stab it backwards to Yarmoliuk, midway inside the Fulham half. That's a good crossfield ball, high diagonal, left to right. Coyote's there to control right corner of the penalty area. Fulham with a 2-goal cushion in the game. Sessegnon gets in front of Coyote here, and the ball is out of play. Right by the corner flag, last touch off the Fulham man, it's another throw.
Yeah, another long throw coming in, and to be fair, I think every time you come away from a Brentford game, you'll wonder, they had a couple of players nearing the 20-goal mark, didn't they, last year?
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what their top goal scorer scores this year.
Long from Coyote into the penalty area, towering header away by Joachim Andersen, and then Coyote slips but regains his footing before Kevin can get there. Henry whips it back in, and it's just over the top. It is another corner. No, offside. The last touch was off Sander Berger, I think, but the flag was up anyway. Here's another double Fulham change. Muniz leaves the field to be replaced by Raul Jimenez, and Smith Rowe off the bench in place of Alex Iwobi. You mentioned, Stu, those Brentford goal scoring stats. So last season, Umberto netted 20 times in the Premier League, Visser 19 times. Shada was the third top scorer with 11 goals last season. The man after that was Christian Norgard with 5, and he's gone. So 3 of Brentford's top Premier League scorers last season left the club in the summer.
Well, and that tells its own story totally. You know, new manager coming in, he's trying to lift the group, but when you take that many goals out at the start of the season, I always look and say goals equate to points. You know what I mean? Those 20 goals are 20 points basically from Mbeumo and Visser alike. So, and that's probably going to be their Achilles heel.
Yellow card for Bernd Leno for delaying the restart. And good refereeing from Michael Oliver. 10 minutes to go. Fulham 3, Brentford 1, and the ball is knocked out of play by Ayer. Indeed, aside from Kevin Schade, the only current Brentford players to have scored 10 or more career goals in the Premier League are Jordan Henderson and Dango Ouattara.
Yeah, I'm not sure Jordan's going to score 10 Premier League goals this season, my friend.
It would be an unlikely scenario, you never know. As Bassi with a long pass all the way back to his goalkeeper, no foul on the Brentford man Schade, just shy of halfway, and Fulham have been the better team tonight. Anderson with another arcing ball right to left, lovely pass. Kevin couldn't quite pluck it out of the air.
It was a raking pass there by Anderson, but I don't think there was no need for it. You know, we're on 81 minutes. Keeping possession of the ball is what Fulham need to do at the moment. It takes the sting out of Brentford, and it's just give the ball back to Brentford, albeit in a defensive area.
He does love that high diagonal ball, does Joachim Andersen. Very accurate normally with it. Here come Brentford over halfway with Henry darting forward, having taken the ball in his stride, and good work by Wilson, getting back to knock it out of play. Works tremendously hard and really has got a wand of a left foot. You know all about that, of course.
I wish I did. I really do. But incredible, great work right there. Just what you want from Wilson. He's burst back, second favourite.
Thrown taken short by Cody. That fooled everybody, and then Damsgaard's delivery isn't good enough. Headed away by the first man, Raul Jimenez, with his first touch since coming on, with 8 minutes plus added time to go on Talk Sport. On a day where we've seen wins for Liverpool, for Manchester United against Chelsea, for Leeds at Wolves, for Palace at West Ham. Fulham leading here. Great one by Ouattara into the penalty area though, and he drags the low shot wide of the near post.
Tell you what, he done everything absolutely correctly. Sold a great dummy, got into the box, cut inside on that left foot, and just pulled his shot. I don't think there was a lot of reaction time for Bernd Leno.
Wide it goes, and one or two in the crowd starting to head for the exits now, head away into the evening here in West London. As Leno pumps the ball long into Brentford territory, the Fulham goalkeeper, it's bounced on the halfway line, and Henry has somehow darted past 2 Fulham players. He sliced his own clearance and then ran onto it.
It did. Incredible play there by Henry, but he's given a bit of energy up this left-hand side since he's come on, I've got to say.
He has, and
been a good servant to this club.
Absolutely. And they've got Aaron Hickey, of course, who can play on the other side, finally back from injury, and hopefully will stay fit. But the game looks to be heading in Fulham's favour again in this fixture. Brentford have got yet another long throw. It's at the midway point of the Fulham half this, so Coyote is going to have to really get tremendous power behind it. Ayer and Collins in front of the goalkeeper Leno. It's long towards the near post, headed away by Anderson.
I'll tell you what, Anderson's been absolutely invaluable tonight to Fulham, because every time that ball's come in the box, it seems to be his head that gets on it.
Such a consistent performer, and key for Fulham tonight again. Back goes Smith Rowe to the feet of Anderson, and now Leno with a little touch out to the right back position. Kenny Tete is there on the near side of the field as Fulham keep the ball, and then Anderson, well, arms outstretched, he overhit the pass massively up the inside right towards Raul Jimenez, and Raul Jimenez was certainly not looking that way. He was statuesque in the central part of the pitch. The wires crossed there, but Fulham won't mind too much. They've scored 3 goals in a game for the first time this season in the Premier League. 3-1. There's a comfortable lead at this stage. I think they're going to bring on a defender as well. Jorge Cuenca is stripped and ready to go. Part of what looks like being a double change for Fulham anyway. We'll confirm the subs in a moment. Henry over the top. Good ball by Damsgaard to find him. Henry dead ball line. It's going to be another corner.
Really great movement, great ball by Damsgaard to put Henry in again. Once again galloping down this left hand side. Once he got to the byline, he just needed to feather it up to the far post, just loft it into the far post. We saw a similar type of cross from Jack Grealish earlier on today, for those who watched the Merseyside derby.
Yes, it was live on TalkSport. As Everton threatened the second half fight back, but Liverpool held on. 5 wins from 5 for them. Fulham heading for 2 straight wins. Off go Wilson, and it's Lukic leading the field. Tom Kearney's going to get a big cheer, and Jorge Cuenca, the Spanish defender, is on as well. And Kearney is loved by the Fulham fans, and rightly so. The club captain, who signed a new contract in the summer, he was waving goodbye on the final game of the season, but he's still a Fulham player, and that's great to see, the number 10. On he goes. So Brentford needs something, and quickly. Yet another corner from the near side. Damsgaard in swinging into the near post with pace, headed away and flicked further clear by Kevin. And Fulham have defended these corners and throws brilliantly in the second half. Coyote wins a free kick off Sessegnon. The ball is on the halfway line. Brentford go wide left, near side. Damsgaard in swinging delivery, looping up high, and Leno doesn't even need to catch it. He can just let it take one bounce, go behind, and there is some boos here for the former Fulham man, Fabio Carvalho. Loud boos as he replaces Mikel Damsgaard. Fulham fans make it clear what they think of their former player.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Joe was obviously disappointed in the manner that he left the club in the first place, I take it.
Well, he left to join Liverpool some time ago now. Carvalho back at Craven Cottage in a Brentford shirt. And Fulham on the attack with Raul Jimenez, can't get through the middle. I haven't seen much of Smith Rowe since he came on, although really he's not had the opportunity to get into the game, in fairness. Fulham 3, Brentford 1, 2.5 minutes plus added time remaining now on TalkSport. The sky's dark overhead but clear. A lot of rain in the build-up, but none at the moment. Henry on halfway, back to Vandenberg, and Brentford have really got to start to commit men forward now. We probably will have quite a lot of added time at the end of the game. Anomaly at heavy chip to the left-hand side, and Vandenberg nearly tripped over it, and out of play it goes. Fulham throw, and Brentford were really careless on the ball then.
Yeah, they didn't show much confidence in trying to play out from the back, and just got themselves in a tighter and tighter situation.
So Tete will take it. Fulham from left to right towards the Hammersmith end of the ground here. Tete 10 yards from the corner flag, and one-on-one with Henry, and he nearly played a threaded pass right along the touchline for Kearney to collect, but it was too tight an area, and Brentford will have a throw down by the corner flag. And some of the fans here in the historic Johnny Haynes stand, instantly recognisable with the brick facade as you walk up to the ground. It's a wonderful place to watch football. Some of them have seen enough, confident that victory is assured, and some of them are heading away now. With Fulham 3-1 up with just over a minute of normal time to go. Brentford throw near side, and you can certainly see what it means to the supporters. Stuart Pearce and both managers talked about that in the build-up. This is the game that Fulham and Brentford fans want to win.
Yeah, they certainly do. As I said, we said before the game as well, they were only a point separated them in the league before this game, and the victor certainly can look back and say, you know what, in Fulham's case, we're up to 8th in the league, level with Chelsea, our local derby rivals, and been more than happy with that points tally, I think, Marco Silva.
Well, we're hearing there's going to be 7 added minutes, 20 seconds of normal time left, a right wing throw from Coyote, so good as a corner this, led with the edge of the 18-yard box, long into the near post, it hit Bassi, then hit Ayer, and spiralled behind for a goal kick to Fulham. So 7 added minutes to come, but have Brentford, they really look like getting back in it, Stu, since Fulham made it 3-1?
No, I think where they've fallen down, they put the ball in the box, in the danger zone, but there's not been somebody to sniff a goal out from nothing, you know, and that's been a problem, and I think it's going to be a problem for them going forward. Lack of a goal scorer within the ranks, and where are the goals coming from will be the question mark.
You're listening to Fulham 3, Brentford 1. Talk Sport with Enterprise, rent a car here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Our next live commentary is tomorrow from the Women's Super League as Manchester United take on Arsenal on Talk Sport 2. That kicks off at 10 to 3 tomorrow. And in the Premier League we'll have all the goals as they go in from 1:30 on Game Day Live here on Talk Sport. Championship action on the Monday Night Football on 2, Talk Sport 2, your home of the EFL, of course. Millwall against Watford, so do download our app to be across it all. A minute of the 7 added played, and the Fulham fans are in such jubilant mood now. It's been a great atmosphere tonight at Craven Cottage. Fulham have a League Cup tie against Cambridge here on Tuesday, and then they have a couple of away games at Aston Villa and Bournemouth. Important for Fulham to get those home points on the board early, and it'll be 7 from 9 if it stays like this.
Yeah, really important for Fulham. Brentford next week, I think we're covering it, the early kick-off against Manchester United, which will be a fantastic game.
Absolutely. Intriguing after Manchester United's win earlier. Heavy touch by Schade on halfway, Berger there to win it back for Fulham. Brentford don't look like scoring the 2 they need. 3-1 down in stoppage time, there's 5 minutes to go, and Kevin he's delayed the restart there really, and Michael Oliver is going to produce the yellow card. He threw the loose ball over the top of Ayer, who is going to take the throw. Good refereeing. Quick throw for Brentford down the right. Schade, dead ball line, pulls it back across, won't reach Ratara. Good interception by Tete before it dropped to the feet of Carvalho, and then Janelt commits a foul. Nearly 2.5 minutes through the 7 added in a hard-working second half display from Fulham.
Yeah, they've been clinical when they've had to be, and a little bit of luck every now and then has played into their hands, namely the goal from Pinnock that's cannoned off his shoulder and slotted into the top corner.
At the wrong end, sadly, for Brentford. Headed by Carvalho over halfway. The second week in a row where Fulham have benefited from a very strange own goal. Kelleher's got the ball. Goalkeeper rolls it out to Ayer. Brentford 3-1 down with less than 4 minutes of added time to go here at a packed Craven Cottage. And Brentford square ball Ayer to Van den Berg. Surely they've got to go long at this stage. Surely Ayer should be up there.
In all honesty, Joe, I've been thinking that for the last 10 minutes, you know, but they've tried to play out from the back and not look particularly convincing by it, Brentford.
2 goals down, 3.5 minutes to go. And Fulham can't make anything of their counter-attack. Smith Rowe gives it away. Early ball Carvalho down the right. Kevin Schade one-on-one with Cuenca. The big Spaniard comes across and wins it back for Fulham. Well, why they have no real aerial presence through the middle at this stage must be frustrating for the Brentford fans.
Yeah, as I say, I think they've come in big numbers as well behind that goal to our left, and as you would expect, but certainly I think this, as soon as the third goal hit the back of the net, I think the game was up.
Here is Van den Berg in the left back position, a square ball infield to Jarman Liek. 2.5 minutes of added time to go. Brentford have to score at least twice. Fulham lead by 3 goals to 1. Ouattara darting down the right by the corner flag. He pulls it back into the path of Coyote. Coyote, corner of the penalty area, back to Yarmoliuk, nudges it wide. Here's Ouattara in swinging left-footed delivery, poor. Cleared upfield easily by Cuenca. Fulham have dealt with everything that Brentford have thrown at them in this second half, and Fulham, as Stuart said, will go 8th in the Premier League, 7th rather, 7th in the Premier League, just behind Chelsea on goal difference. Great noise from the Fulham fans. Collins into the centre circle, angled ball out wide to Coyote, a minute and 45 seconds left, and Aya has gone forward now for Brentford. Coyote feeds the ball to Sharda on the edge of the penalty area, could get the shot away, but well tracked by Calvin Bassey yet again. Outstanding tonight, Bassey. Oh, and what an impudent flick, incredible piece of skill out on the left by Kevin, but Fulham have given it away, and now Ouattara raids down the right, excellently timed sliding challenge by Cuenca. The ball was like a magnet to the right boot of Kevin there. A very impressive, almost instantaneous flick over the foot of his opponent, and the Fulham fans absolutely love him already.
I think he needs his own football, to be fair, Joe, you know what I mean? So when the ball's nowhere near him, he can entertain the crowd.
Does he like running with it? 45 seconds to go now. All over here, surely. Fulham are going to take the bragging rights now as Smith Rowe is hauled to the ground. Foul by Ouattara. And a free kick, I'm not going to get a booking, I think that's probably fair enough.
They've been genuine, Brentford, but they've just lacked a little bit of guile and class in and around the Fulham penalty box to get a finish away. And to be fair, they look as though they know that now in their body language, don't they?
Yep, and it has felt like that for 10-15 minutes, you'd have to say.
Yep.
The 7 minutes of added time have now been played, and tonight Fulham are the cream of the crop in West London. They have beaten their local rivals Brentford by 3-1, and after Chelsea lost earlier, Fulham go level on points with Enzo Maresca's team, only behind them on goal difference, and up to 7th in the Premier League. Fulham unbeaten here at Craven Cottage to start the new top flight season. More evidence of the great work that Marco Silva continues to do, but disappointment for Keith Andrews in Brentford, who actually took the lead through Mikel Damsgaard after 20 minutes, but Fulham never really looked back after equalising through Alex Iwobi. Just moments later, Harry Wilson turned the game on its head, and in the second half, Ethan Pinnock's bizarre own goal, perfectly placed for Fulham, but at the wrong end for Brentford, gave the home team breathing space. Another own goal at the Hammersmith end in Fulham's favour. Rodrigo Muniz had a fourth ruled out after a VAR check. That was a tough one for the referee, Michael Oliver, but regardless of that, 3 more points for Fulham, and most importantly for the Fulham fans, they've got one over their near neighbours again. Fulham 3, Brentford 1.